After the lack of moves on the actual trade deadline day, Golden State looks to the buyout market now. Yeah, they made a big trade for Jimmy Butler, but they lost 4 players in that deal, opening up 3 roster spots, 1 occupied by Quentin Post, and that leaves 2 more slots on this Warriors roster and a bunch of free agents they could go out there and sign here heading into the All-Star break. We'll talk about 10 names in just a moment, but first, if you're fired up for the debut of Jimmy Butler tomorrow against the Chicago Bulls, hit that thumbs up icon, like today's video, and also make sure you're subscribed as well, because we might just be going live on the channel for Warriors, Bulls, and Jimmy Butler's debut. Hit that thumbs up icon if you're fired up. Here is the Warriors roster as it currently stands right now. And I know, it's crazy, right? You see the man in the middle there, Quentin Post? He's starting after he's gotten an elevated role. Golden State's been looking for more space, and he's the one that provides it at that 5 spot. Then, once his team's fully healthy, you have Butler, Draymond, Steph, and Jonathan Kuminga, who is ramping up on-court work. Off the bench, you have Moses Moody and Looney, Brandon Podziemski, who's had a couple of solid games over the past few, and Gary Payton II, TJD, and Guy Santos. And Guy Santos is kind of the biggest wing Golden State has on the bench. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But according to Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports, Golden State is going to be, quote, very aggressive in the buyout market because, well, not only do they have multiple spots open on their roster, they need to add more talent. The team still feels incomplete after missing out on a potential Vucevic trade yesterday or any other target that Golden State was looking at on deadline day. So where this team stands overall, like I just mentioned with Guy Santos being like the only 6'6" guy off the bench, and yeah, they got Jackson Rowe pulled up, G-Leaguer, Pat Spencer as well, he's a point guard, but I don't really want to see those guys in Golden State's lineup anymore. Overall, I think the goal here should be acquiring more just straight up talent on this roster. If they want to compete with the top teams in the Western Conference, they just got to go out there and get more dogs. They got to go get more ballers. And let's start off with a dog, a baller, Marcus Smart, who got unfortunately and unceremoniously traded to the Washington Wizards yesterday. And listen, Smart does make a lot of money right now, so it's yet to be seen whether or not he will be bought out by the Wizards, but they should do right by the man and just go let him try to play for a contender in this league because he is a contender. He is a competitor year in and year out, one of the best defensive guards of the generation, an absolute dog, and yeah, he's not going to be the best floor spacer, but hey, he gets him up, no doubt about it. Marcus Smart is not afraid to let it fly, and he could be a really, really solid contributor, and for a Golden State team that loses Dennis Schroeder in that Jimmy Butler deal, they need another ball handler on this roster, in my opinion. And you know what? Smart is just a dog. And if you're going to go make a trade for Jimmy Butler and bring him into a locker room with Draymond Green, why not just go all in on a dog mentality and bring in one of the biggest ones in the NBA and Marcus Smart? He's going to give you toughness. He's going to be the first to every loose ball on the floor, and he's going to give it his all. And you know what? He's performed in really high leverage moments in the postseason. I think Marcus Smart would be a veteran addition with, NBA Finals experience that could really help this team push itself maybe past a first-round playoff series. But you be the judge. Is Marcus Smart somebody that you guys are interested in bringing to Golden State? Let me know down in the comment section. This will be the pinned comment. Get in the front office for me. Type S for sign, type P for pass on whether the Warriors should sign Marcus Smart if he does get bought out or not. Next up on the list, Bojan Bogdanovic, the Croatian sharpshooter from the Brooklyn Nets, who was not traded on deadline day, but he has not played this season due to recovery from a left foot injury. And that's unfortunate for a guy who's 36 years old right now, but it doesn't look like he's going to be playing much for Brooklyn throughout the rest of this season, as he has been cleared for on-court work, but Brooklyn's not bringing him back anytime soon. They're still keeping him out of the lineup, and that just tells me that they're going to get rid of him soon and let him go sign with somebody who's trying to compete. And before the foot injury, Bogdanovic was absolutely lighting it up. Specifically before the trade to the Knicks last season on deadline day, he was balling out for the Detroit Pistons. And those numbers are a little bit skewed because in the few games that he did play with New York, he didn't have the most success. But look back to 2 seasons ago in 2022-23, where he's putting up 22 a night on 41% from long range. This guy could still light it up. And yeah, he's on the wrong side of 30. He's on the wrong side of 35, to be quite honest. But this team needs more spacing off of the bench. They need a bigger wing off of the bench. I'm not saying that he's got incredible defensive versatility or IQ or skills on that end by any means, but we need a sharpshooter on this team not named Buddy Hield, to be quite honest with you. I'm getting a little bit sick and tired of the Buddy Hield experience, and I think just having somebody who's unselfish and honestly can go get his own shot if he is feeling healthy enough to do it. I like Bogdanovic a lot, and that's a player that I think Golden State should target in the buyout market if he becomes available and if he's willing to sign in Golden State. I like the player, and he can light it up from distance. Golden State needs more spacing after the Jimmy trade as well. We'll talk about 3 more names in just a moment, but first, I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform with over 10 million active members, including yours truly, because it's daily fantasy made easy. And here's how it works. All you guys got to do is pick a lineup of 2 to 6 player stat projections and just pick more or less. So when you're watching your favorite sports, you can win real money in real time. I'm talking up to 1,000 times your money on PrizePicks, and they're always trying to hook you up with incredible deals. Like a free $50 in your account when you place your first $5 entry and sign up using our promo code CLNS. The deals don't stop there, though. There's Taco Tuesday, where they're slashing stat projections all day long. Or Flex Friday, where if you lose your lineup, they'll give it back to you, your entry, in promo funds. And when specialty events come around, they're giving you guys free opportunities to get closer and closer to winning real money in real time, like this big game free pick right here. Patty Mahomes, more than half a passing yard. I'm taking that. You better take advantage of it too, because if you couple it with something else in the big game, or a basketball pick, a hockey pick, an esports pick, doesn't even matter. You're already halfway to winning 3x your money on PrizePicks. So take advantage of that deal and take advantage of our deal as well with our promo code CLNS for $50 instantly when you place your first $5 entry. You don't even need to win to receive the $50. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks. Run your game. All that information is clickable down in the comment section and description of today's video. Next up, why don't we go back to the well of spacing the floor with Kelly Olynyk, who was traded to the New Orleans Pelicans yesterday, or 2 nights ago, in the Brandon Ingram deal a couple of hours after Jimmy was sent to the Bay. And what Golden State was looking at yesterday in the deadline, the hours leading up to the deadline, was bringing in a stretch big to the fold. And that's exactly what Kelly Olynyk is. And in my opinion, he is actually better than Vucevic in an area of putting the ball on the deck. Like, he can take it from the top of the key, take you off the dribble, and honestly is an underrated playmaker in that regard as well. And you want somebody who you feel confident with having the ball in his hands at multiple levels of the floor. And he's lighting it up from three-point range this season. I mean, in limited action as well. He's only played 24 games, and he's not seen incredible minutes load, or was in Toronto, but still 44% from distance. You can't argue with that. And he's been a sharpshooter basically his entire career. That was his calling card, and that's what's kept him in the league for so long. And he's put up double-digit scoring numbers damn near over the past 4 seasons. And that's kind of where I'm talking about here. Like, let's just go get another floor spacer. Let's go get somebody who, if Quentin Post is having an off night, as he is a second-round rookie, right? We can't expect too much out of the guy. You can go to a guy like Kelly Olynyk and still feel confident that you have a spaced out enough floor and a high IQ basketball player that stands at 7 feet, that can get a rebound. It's not the most equipped on defense, but Golden State has enough defense. They have enough switchability, especially with Draymond, Kuminga, Jimmy kind of running that 2-3-4. Kelly Olynyk is a guy who, in my opinion, is going to improve what Golden State needs to improve upon, and that's putting the ball in the basket, and that's putting the ball in the basket from long range. I wouldn't be mad at a 45% three-point shooter who stands near 7 foot. Next up, Seth Curry. Now, I'll be transparent with you guys. This spot originally went to Bruce Brown, but I recently learned that Bruce Brown is not a potential buyout candidate. So why not go and get some brotherly love in Golden State with Seth Curry, and another sharpshooter? Honestly, like, that's kind of where I'm going with this whole pursuit of buyout targets. A lot of guys who are potentially on the market are three-point shooters. And you know what? Golden State doesn't have enough three-point shooting on the roster right now. They didn't really have enough three-point shooting before the Jimmy Butler trade, but now they're definitely thin in that regard. So why not bring in another 45% shooter? He's already played 41 games this season, and I'm not going to say he's playing a ton of minutes in Charlotte either, but hey, again, you can't argue with 45% from deep. And yeah, he had a rough season last year, but he was moving around from Dallas to Charlotte. This guy can light it up from 3. And I'm not saying that he's going to be somebody who we need to play 15, 20 minutes a game, but hey, can you give me a spot, a couple of minutes in a third quarter where, you know, a couple of guys on the team aren't shooting the lights out, or Golden State really needs a couple of triples to fall? I'm not saying that Seth Curry is going to fix any of the Warriors' problems. But a problem that it might fix is getting Steph out of the funk that he's kind of in right now, man. Like, you saw last night against the Lakers that little spin reverse layup that he went out, absolutely, the defender wasn't even close, within 4 feet of the guy, and he just blows the layup. Like, I think bringing in a guy like Seth Curry could help bring Steph a little bit more back down to earth and help him recalibrate a little bit as we head into this All-Star break, head into this era with Jimmy Butler, and kind of help him get back to the player that he was, last year, the year before, his whole career with the Golden State Warriors, which is a top 5 talent in the NBA. Last up on this list, yes, you saw him on the thumbnail. He had to be involved. It's Ben Simmons. And am I going to sit here and act like Ben Simmons is going to be the savior for the Golden State Warriors after I've talked about 3 straight sharpshooters and floor spacers on this list? No, he's clearly a big contrast from the guys that we've talked about so far, but he is a lengthy wing and a player who can absolutely bring you positives on the defensive end and be a good ball mover as well. I don't love his attitude that he's had basically throughout his entire career of I don't need to work as hard as everybody else, but at the end of the day, he's like a poor man's Draymond Green in a sense. He's Draymond Green without the Draymond Green in him, honestly. Like he's not really a dog. He relies on a lot of his own physical traits, and that really hasn't proved well for him throughout his NBA career. And yes, he has yet to develop a jump shot, but he is an incredible defender. And maybe could Golden State's culture potentially help him resurrect his career? Like that's a question you have to ask yourself. I'm not so keen on bringing in Ben Simmons. I'm not so sure that he'll even give Golden State a chance to sign with. I think the Hawks and the Cavs are the 2 teams that are really targeting Simmons for the rest of the season. So he was a name I had to throw in there because he's at the top of everybody's big board as a buyout candidate. I'm not too interested in bringing him into Golden State, but I figured I had to include him here. Name a player, though, that the Warriors should sign. Who is your number 1 buyout target in the market right now? Listen, the names we talked about so far, there's still no guarantee that all those players end up getting waived, but those are the hottest names running around the mill right now as potential buyout candidates. So who's your top guy? Let me know in the comments section. 5 more guys that Golden State could potentially target in the buyout market. Marvin Bagley, he's only 26 years old, and you know what? He's put up some solid numbers over the past couple of years. Like, we're talking 12, 14 points a game, 7 boards. Like, he's an athlete. He's super long, can make physical plays down near the basket. Not going to space the floor much, but hey, Golden State doesn't really have enough athletes on their team, in my opinion. Reggie Jackson, another championship DNA type of player, somebody who's not going to turn the ball over, going to be able to reset the offense, could be a little bit of a Dennis Schroeder replacement as well. Chris Boucher, kind of a lengthy wing as well, 6'9", can space the floor a little bit. Thought he would be traded on deadline day by the Raptors, but that didn't end up happening, and he's potentially back on the market as a free agent. PJ Tucker, can he even play anymore? I mean, I'm kind of just begging for some corner 3-point shooting, and then Josh Richardson. Like those 2 names at the end there. Josh Richardson was already waived by the Jazz, so he's definitely a buyout target, but I'm not so keen on either of those 2 guys. If I'm picking either of the 2 or 2 names from this list, I'm going Reggie Jackson or Marvin Bagley there, but the 5 we talked about previously are the names that I would look to first. And out of those 5 names, give me Marcus Smart and Kelly Olynyk. Give me the former Boston Celtics. Why not on this team? You get a dog, and you get a guy who's going to give you 150% on every single play in Marcus Smart, and then you fix a big need on this roster in floor spacing at the forwards and center position in Kelly Olynyk. I love those 2 guys, and I think that they are winning talents, high IQ players, and that's what Golden State needs right now. Talented, smart ball players, because I'm done losing games like Golden State did last night to the Lakers and the night before to the Utah Jazz. But we can talk about it more on Twitter. Hit me up at this handle, Smitty@CS. Trying to build a little bit more of a Warriors community over there. Get into the Warriors Twitter sphere. So follow me on there and make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because we might just go live for the Jimmy Butler debut watch party on the channel tomorrow. Lock us in as your number 1 spot for Golden State Warriors news and rumors all season long. If you love the Dubs, you love what we got going on here. We'll see you in the next one. Let's go Dubs.